All right. So does anyone know what immersive travel writing is actually? Very curious.
Immersive writing is the way to write in emotional way, to use words which describe your state, which describe your experience and how you feel about this situation, people, and what impressed you, and how your opinion about that and how you feel about that.
So basically, yeah, you're right with that. So it's a lot about emotions. So it's basically not just like telling about your story. You want to really like drag the person into your story. You want that the person like visualize it, right? So they can really taste what the character tastes, right? Like hear some sound or like smell something, imagine it, right? So it's a bit triggering like the imagination, the fantasy. And of course, as a writer, it helps if you talk about emotions. And actually, when I was during like the National Geographic course, like the editor said, you need not to tell the story, you need to show it basically. So that means instead of saying like, I just landed in Bali, Indonesia, you can say like, my nose got hit by like nasi goreng, an Indonesian dish made of this, and that, for example. So you can like imagine it more. Like you can imagine the ingredients, and of course, yeah, especially if you introduce your audience to the story, you also need to imagine that they don't know the place, right? So it's always good to like describe everything well. So just to make it simple, like immersive travel writing is basically that you write about your emotions, about the five senses, right? So it's like, yeah, the touch, the smell, the sound, also like what you see, right? And also what you taste, basically. And it's also like more basically showing instead of telling. So that's a very important one. So we call it. We had an exercise with National Geographic. Yeah, it was in Dutch, called that you need to write more in images instead of words. Yeah, it sounds a bit weird, but you basically need yeah, to show the reader, right? Like what's happening, to let them taste the dish, to let them hear the viol, right? Or the harp. You want to not only say I am on a market in Marrakesh, but you want to say like the red color of the chili spices, or like for example the smell of the mint of the Moroccan tea. So you really want to give people like a taste, right? So they can immerse themselves in the story. But Veronica, very well how you described it. I see you knew already about the immersive storytelling or travel writing. So yeah, also good to know like immersive travel writing can be also immersive travel vlogging or even travel photography. Because even with a picture, you can make also a picture alive, right? So that's also possible. And especially with when you talk to the camera, you can also say, oh, I taste this and that, or I smell this and that, right? So we will check a little bit. Yeah, like this is a bit like an example of like immersive storytelling. So I was making like a video on the Mercado de Brujas in Peru, Lima. So even a lot of locals don't know about it, because I have a lot of Peruvian friends and they were like, what, is there like a witches market in Lima? I didn't know about it. I know Chinatown, but Mercado de Brujas, I never heard about it. So there's basically like a market. It's not the safest area, so you need always to mind your pockets. But basically, when you go a bit deeper into the market, then they sell a lot of like different, yeah, I always call it a bit weird things. Maybe it's not good to tell like that, but it's basically, yeah, it's a lot of local beliefs, let's say, right? So people can buy different elixirs, different remedies as well, right? Some can help you, some maybe not. A lot of charms for luck, even like yeah, sometimes you can buy even bad spells if you really want, you know, like to use a spell on someone that you don't like. So there are a lot of like, yeah, like for me personally, culture shock things, right? Weird things because we don't have it in the Netherlands. Like I found like photos of alpaca, or a llama. I'm not sure what it was. So they use it. I'm not sure if in Peru as well, but in Bolivia they use it for rituals, like when they built a house. So I was quite surprised. And it was also very interesting because I went with some YouTubers. I was guiding them a little bit because I was there before, and we went to kind of like local shaman. And in Peru, uh, yeah, most of the people are like Catholic, but they have still a lot of indigenous Inca beliefs as well. And yeah, we went into one of those kind of like small, yeah, houses. I don't know how to call it. It was kind of a stand, but a bit with a curtain. So went like inside, and the guy was saying that we can make an appointment for a ritual when they basically take a real cuy and they kill the cuy. It's kind of like cavia, a guinea pig, I think in English we call it. And basically they use the blood for like the rituals. I was like, wow, I was quite shocked that yeah, I don't even know if it's like allowed, you know, like in the Netherlands, it's, for example, not allowed to do that kind of rituals where you kill an animal, right? But in some countries, it's just, yeah, like a bit more indigenous or ancient custom, right? Or tradition, religion. Um, so yeah, that's like an example, especially of like immersive storytelling, right? That you go to that kind of markets and then a lot of things happen, right? So how do you capture it? So if you just go random, it's maybe difficult to capture everything. But imagine if you are more sensitive with immersive travel writing, or in this case, I was more making videos, then it's storytelling. So basically, as you can see here around, you can see a lot of things, right? So try to think first, you enter the market. What do you smell, right? Try to think about, is it food? Is it maybe like old books, like old paper from old books, right? Or is it maybe like some smoke or incense, or like that kind of smoke for rituals when they put something on fire for ritual? So it gives you already like a good start with the story because you capture those elements. Also, what do you hear? Which colors or things you see, right? If you try something to eat, what do you taste? Maybe the texture of the things that you pick up. Oh, that's maybe a bit weird. It feels a bit not like material, but something from an animal, for example, right? A bit fleshy or weird, right? So it's good to capture that. You know, you can talk, for example, as you can see, I had here from DJI like a microphone, so you can talk to the mic, so it captures everything you see, right? Or you can write it down or on your phone. But yeah, I would recommend sometimes a memo recorder, or just if you talk into the camera, it's easier just to record everything. So just want you to kind of give an example of that kind of immersive storytelling. You know, if you go especially to a busy place and suddenly you need to capture everything, it's difficult, of course, because a lot of things happen. I can't stand there for a long time because people go by. I need to protect my wallet, my phone at the same time, talk to the camera. So it's not that easy, right, to capture everything. But it's a good practice, actually. I really recommend, even in your local area, if there's a market, it's always busy. Try to go there, try to capture everything, and at the end, sit down with a cup of coffee or even something on the market and just start to write a story. It can be even like 10 sentences, and you get a bit an idea how you can use the immersive travel writing. So let's go a bit further. So yeah, I wanted also, I mentioned earlier that yeah, they pay a lot of attention with that in National Geographic. I attended last time a couple of meetings from National Geographic. So this is like one course of the in the headquarters in Amsterdam. So I just participated. But there were also last time like two kind of like meetups, one an event from the US, National Geographic. So there were like some experts talking about how to pitch and in general about National Geographic. And another meeting was focused on travel writing. So it's good that we have that topic today because I can share also a bit insights from the editors. So for example, yeah, what's important nowadays is everyone knows about AI. That's also a bit the topic of this month. And as you can imagine, like, yeah, you can write stories with AI, right? But if you use immersive travel writing, what's very cool is that you write from your own perspective, right? What you feel or someone else. So some things AI just can't copy, right? I mean, they can't copy your whole story, right? They can try to make a story based on other stories, but your personal story that you can, yeah, they can't copy that, right? Because it's you. And that's actually what National Geographic editor said, is basically that National Geographic looks a lot for like travel essays. We will also write today like a travel essay. So that means a story in I perspective. So something that you saw, tasted, a culture shock, a culinary experience. Maybe you got sick on the road, maybe robbed, maybe you saw a very unique animal somewhere, right? In the forest, discovered like a treasure, right? So that's a bit more what National Geographic focus now is on, that immersive travel writing, and especially in the first person, because yeah, like top 10 destinations, ChatGPT can write it, right? So also my advice, if you write a travel blog about top 10, let's say top 10 villages in Netherlands that you should visit, for example, right? ChatGPT will generate you a beautiful story, but still, I would not recommend to do it that way because, yeah, the Google will know it, you know, that you copied it from ChatGPT. So I would say it's better to use it as a form of research, then check out the places if it's true, because ChatGPT lies a lot. So that's actually also what National Geographic said, that they just don't accept stories that they know there was research made with ChatGPT, because it's still not that well performing as AI software that everything is correct, because yeah, it isn't. So for pre-trip research, yeah, you can also they can make a mistake, right? It's like the AI software. So it's very good to know about it, because I know it's easy to just type in, and still it's very great that we can use it, but still always double check it. So later go on the website and just check if it's correct, especially if you write the article. And yeah, what I wanted to say is, if you write from your first perspective, right, for National Geographic, then they are happy like to publish it. But if you use like ChatGPT for research, then usually, yeah, they are just not happy about it. And if you write for your own travel blog, you can do the research, then check it if it's correct, right, on other sources, add those sources in your blog, and then you can put like your own experience. For example, some information from like ChatGPT, you checked it like with Google if it's correct. And then you can say like, yeah, I went to this cafe. I enjoyed the coffee there because it felt like it was like homemade, fresh coffee beans, fresh roasted. So that you can put more of that immersive storytelling. And that's actually what nowadays Google and publishers reward. So it's a very important topic today, like because it's a bit like the concurrence of ChatGPT, because ChatGPT gives you a lot of information, but still publications and Google, they want that immersive storytelling, right? So that's very important. And yeah, I wanted to give here another example of immersive storytelling. We went also actually with the same YouTuber to Callao. It's a neighborhood in Lima. And we went for a cooking class with a local chef. He's a very good chef in Peru for seafood. And that's also like an example of immersive yeah, storytelling in this case, because yeah, we saw like which ingredients he had. We could talk with the owner about his experience. We could try ourselves, right? So feel the texture, the taste, the smell, the colors, right? So also a great way if you want to practice it is by going for some cooking classes, for example, abroad. So that's also a nice way. And for those that want to join for Peru, we will also do that. So we will go and try to, see the local market, to use that storytelling like in practice, and later also write a story about it. So that's also good to know. So here a little bit, what is immersive travel writing? So it's a style of storytelling that makes the reader get the feeling that they are inside the journey. So it's something a bit like what Veronica said as well, and especially about those five senses, right? That you focus on seeing, smelling, right? Hearing, touching, like the texture of something, of a material, tasting also, right? And trying to basically visualize like your experiences so the person can imagine it. So yeah, here you can see some examples of the five senses writing technique, right? Because the immersive travel writing, it's not only about the five senses. The five senses, it's more like a technique we use, right? Because there's more inside the immersive travel writing. So yeah, like example, I was like in Kyoto in Japan, and it rained, right? It became cloudy, so I was thinking like, oh no, I wanted to take pictures. But then, I went outside, walked like in the streets, and they have that kind of old houses with that old wood from like the Edo period. It's like a period in Japan, and when it rains, you can really like smell the wood of those houses. So that's something quite unique and also very cool to capture in a story. So, for example, here the smell, wooden smell after the rain from the Edo-style houses in Kyoto. So it's a good way to let someone like imagine it, for example, right? Other thing can be touch. Like in Peru, I bought like a alpaca sweater from my mother actually, and I remember I touched the alpaca sweater and it felt like I can't almost like grab it because it's so light, the material. So it was very unique. So you can say like the texture of the alpaca sweater is like touching a cloud. I almost can feel it. It's actually true with the baby alpacas because they use the first kind of shave of like the alpaca, and that's the most like I would say the most soft one, where they make the sweaters from. So here's also like, for example, the texture, right? To describe the touch. It can be also something with temperature, right? It's something is cold, hot. And then seeing, right? So you can say red, green, and yellow colors of spices turn the market into a fairy tale. So you can imagine all those different colors. Oh, I went a bit too fast. Sound, suddenly I hear an ancient melody of a harp. Taste, first time I felt a bitter and a bit confusing taste when I tried a cup of coffee. So maybe like your experience from childhood. You can also put it in a story and then say, for example, but this time I feel totally the opposite. I'm now sitting in Bali and trying the local Luwak coffee that feels a little bit more sweet, for example, right? So you can also relate stories back to the past, for example. So those are like the five senses that we will also like practice later to write a story, and that helps a lot to let the reader like imagine like what happened, visualize it. So here you can see also a bit an example like what's traditional travel writing and what's immersive travel writing. So traditional, Bali is a beautiful island known for its beaches and temples, right? So as you can see, you describe a lot. You just are telling like, oh, it has this, and that, right? You can imagine it still. I mean, still it's okay, right? But if you want to make it more immersive, then you say the air in Ubud smelled like incense and wet earth. I followed the sound of chanting until I found a temple courtyard where roosters strutted between flickering oil lamps. So as you can, see, you imagine yourself more like an Ubud, like a Bali city, right? And that incense from like the rituals and wet earth, it rained probably, right? So it kind of gives you a bit more like an immersive experience as a reader. And also the first one, as you can imagine, also ChatGPT usually writes in the first, a bit like the first one. Of course, you can change it a little bit, so it will fake it a bit and talk more like immersive, but that's usually how ChatGPT writes more. So you can, of course, focus more on the immersive. I just wanted to practice a little bit. So for example, here, like we can use the chat. And yeah, you can just use a couple of words or even a sentence if you want, just to make it short. We will later write a bit a bigger story. But how would you describe this picture? You are on the market, I would just say in Marrakesh, in Morocco, and it's a very like busy market, and you suddenly spot this this situation. So try to put in the chat now, like yeah, like which words would you put in the text? You have a piece of paper. If you see it here, you can use a couple of words or even a whole sentence to describe it. And try to think about the 5 senses. Oh, I see already a text. The colorful spices are the color of life and taste. Oh, I like this one. I like this one. Sometimes also like colorful, you can also replace by, for example, the colors of red, blue, and yellow give a feeling of life and taste, for example. So that's also a bit what National Geographic said, that sometimes it's good to kind of a bit zoom in on some things, but still it's okay, of course, it's all right. I really like the how you said the color of life and taste. Very cool. It's just to practice a bit. All right. A burst of colorful spices that were sweet smelling for the nose. Also, I like this one because you really like define the smell, right? That it's like sweet. Everyone can imagine a little bit, sweet, sweet smell. Sometimes you can compare it, sweet like, for example, like a donut, right? Or sweet like sugar. Yeah, also a colorful spice. And the same you can also put here like red, blue, for example, more to imagine the colors. All right. I wait for one more. Yeah, for example, here, yeah, you can probably maybe smell the spices, right? Maybe even cough because some spices go in your nose, especially with spicy cuisine. Sometimes if you walk into the cuisine of a chef, you can even like cough because it's like you can really feel like the spices in your nose. So that's like also a nice way to like yeah, to tell the story or focus on those colors, on the texture. Maybe you try to touch something like the cold metal handle like this one, to put the spices in like a plastic bag or like a organic bag. I see another one. We have the aroma. We have the aroma, smell, fineness of powered spices filled the air and started dancing in front of my eyes. Oh, I like this one. Yeah, I like this one. I guess
So,
probably watering, yeah,
yeah.
watering eyes from it.
Also, can I ask, Mr. Igor, that
Mhm,
mostly by immersive, to my understanding, please correct me if I'm wrong,
mhm,
as if there is a kind of personalization. You are putting yourself in the target context. In fact, here
mhm,
the reader and the writer are somehow overlapping each other, and you should
mhm,
express everything with the qualities, with the quantities, as you mentioned, 5 senses, in order to
mhm.
recreate as if the reader is there. Feel it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's very beautiful how you said. So basically, you want to take the reader by the hand, which you guide them, and even like put him inside the story. So he really feels he's the person, like smelling it, like touching it, like seeing the colors, right? Like to bring
I
that.
think that is the same kind of terminology. Maybe we use it in the some linguistic language academy, like
Mhm.
immersion program. When you
Ah,
go
yeah.
for 1 or
Mhm.
2 months, you're just speaking in the target language, You just listen to their jokes. You try to cry with them. You try to eat with them as if you are a member of that society.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, it's funny that you say this because I'm also like a Dutch teacher, and that's how I started with traveling a lot in the beginning. And actually, I use a program called like dialogue simulations. So the idea was to not focus on translating the language to another language, but really, yeah, what you say on immersion, like exposure, I also call it. So basically, you focus on you see a picture and you translate it to Dutch, or you see a situation, someone gives you money, right? You receive the money, and then basically you focus more on the situation. So you say like, oh, dankjewel, alsjeblieft, for example, in Dutch. And that gives a bit more like a feeling that you don't translate it, but you really are able to be spontaneous in the situation. So in my opinion, it's the best way to learn a language. Then you also understand their jokes, their customs, their way how they use their tone or nonverbal communication or mimic, because sometimes you know the language, but maybe not really like the customs. Or some countries it's normal that you stand close to each other, and other countries more from a distance. In some countries you look each other in the eyes, in other countries you look a little bit away when you talk. So that's a great yeah, I really like Baha, how you said about it, because it's a very good example, yeah, of immersion. Basically it's with language the same. All right, I see from Veronica also. Oh, it's a long text. I see. I am feeling the pleasant smell of sweets that can be defined as plums. I saw the world of different colors when I realized that it was the place of seasonings. I went to the shopping assistant and asked him to give me advice where I can use these seasonings. I would like to buy them and add to some of my favorite dishes. Okay, yeah, well done, well done. It's also nice you focus on the sense of smelling, right? You imagine the plums, right? So it's visual, and the different colors also, right? And you also put another technique, it's like dialogues, right? So you try to put, instead of sometimes it's a good way also to start a story that someone talks to you. You put it like in a quote, right? So for example, you can do like, here's the change, right? In a quote, said the vendor seller while playing with his beard, for example, right? So it's like that you kind of give automatically that visualization, right? That immersion. So that's also a very cool technique to use. Well done. It's a very cool one. You could add here a quote, for example, to kind of make it even more immersive. All right, here we have another one. So you can see here another picture. Imagine yourself, you walk in Lima, in the central city, you look for stories, you think, I couldn't find any story, and suddenly you see this map. So also try, this time just in one sentence, okay? Just to write it down. I'll just make it short, this one. So you can try to use the 5 senses. Smell, sound, texture, what you see, right? What you hear, what you taste. Also good way also to practice with that is going to a concert or or listen to local bands, right? So you can then practice, especially with writing down what you hear. Okay, we have the first one from memory. The sound of the violin was so intense it drew my attention. Oh, that's a good one. I also like, because you have 5 senses, right? But sometimes I also use not only the 5 senses, but also things like, I call it internal senses. They also use that sometimes, writers. So for example, my heart beat increased, or I felt pain in my chest. I think a panic attack was coming because the bus was like so full with local Indian people that I couldn't breathe, for example, right? Or I took a bite of the ice cream. It was a bit too big, and I felt like my head was exploding and I was in an ice age. I felt like a frost attack, right? Sometimes you have that kind of a feeling when you eat the ice cream too fast, right? That you can feel it like in your head. Or I got like I walked on the street and suddenly I felt the ghost bumps on my skin. The man uh, across the street was playing my favorite song on the violin, for example. So those are also, you can use also kind of, you have the five senses, but you have also sometimes that kind of, I call it internal senses, right? How your internal like body reacts on some situations. Okay, another one. The atmosphere is full of honest feelings expressed by violence, showing deep down joy or pain, as if when the words are exhausted and finishes, the music just starts. So the atmosphere, so that's also very nice sometimes to describe the atmosphere, right? The atmosphere is full of honest feelings, right? So you say like honest fear expressed by violin, don't joy or pain. That's also nice. So also finishes, the music just starts. Sometimes
Can I,
it's also, yes, of
sorry,
course.
just one question. Can I ask if based on the picture we can imagine if this is a kind of sad music or happy music or not?
Sometimes yes. I do that assignment more as kind of that you walk there and see that happening in a situation. So of course the man will be moving, right? So that will be a bit different. But even from a picture, you can also understand it sometimes. So it's a bit difficult to say. Like, I mean, if you look at, because he has glasses on, so that makes it difficult. If he didn't have it, you could see it in his eyes. Maybe if he looks, a bit angry or very happy or more romantic. But sometimes you can get a bit the feeling of the music. Also, like his dress codes, I would think more. It's a bit more like more emotional or a bit sad music because he is not very colorful dress. Because if you see the mariachi bands, like the Mexican, big hats and colorful clothes, then it's more happy music. He looks a bit more with, like dark clothes. So I would say a bit more sad. Further, you can, what can you see? Like he has that kind of puppet, right? That plays as well. You can see from here also the emotion of the puppet, so it's difficult. But it also, it's like, only like the red shoes looks a bit more kind of happy. You see the coins, right? In the box. So people are happy about the music, I guess, or at least they'll appreciate the music. So I would say in this situation, it's very difficult to like predict. But when I was walking by, it was a bit more sad music. So you could
But
get it
just
from the.
for your information, in some countries and culture, when we have street music, for example, in Armenia, I remember I just met a group. They used to start traveling from one country to another, but just music was a way they could collect some kind of money to help with their project to go ahead with. In some
Oh,
other places, people just play music and they don't like to get money because they want to make people happy. It is just
yeah,
for
yeah,
the
yeah.
art.
For the art.
Yeah. But generally speaking, yeah, there is a difference between playing a violin or a musical instrument in a concert in a very chic public place where a lot of audience are, or just to the side road or a walkway somewhere in the street. I believe it gives a sense of, as you mentioned, expressive, kind of melancholy, kind of sad, or sometimes. I mean, I'm trying to say in some culture, this is more kind of emotional, kind of personal, kind of. It's not very, anyway, happy
Yeah,
in a
yeah, yeah,
sense.
yeah.
In a
Yeah, I like
sense.
it how you say it. I think in a lot of especially with street artists with the violin, I would say definitely it feels a bit more like what you said, more emotional, personal, like a personal story. So I can imagine it's like different yeah, feeling when he plays a concert, right, with a lot of people, maybe more like, like more energetic, and on the street, more like maybe about like a love, like that never confirmed him, right? So, or like something that bad that happened, right? As someone that he lost. I think it's very beautiful how you said it about. And it's also like, yeah, what you said, that some people just travel around, make music to just get some money to be able to travel. There's so many of those artists. Sometimes they put like an envelope even in restaurants so people can donate a little bit. Or some people just, maybe a local artist just goes on the street just, yeah, to share like his story basically. So it's also a bit
And
like
it's
immersive storytelling.
absolutely, and it's quite possible some people just do it for, let's say, fundraising. They are for the sake of kind of humanity, helping some other
Mhm.
groups, orphan
Yeah.
children. They use the art in order to do a good thing for the society. It is also
Oh
possible.
yeah, that's also interesting. So a bit like social work, yeah. So like helping others, or sometimes themselves, maybe if they're like homeless, but also like that they can gather like some money for like a project. Yeah, that's very beautiful actually. Let me check. I see here another one. I think the first two I read already. Sometimes it was so intense. Passion deep down. Yeah, this one we have. Okay, so from Veronica. The stranger made me crying when I heard his like this melody of my soul. It was romantic. Oh yeah, but like what we talk about, and sad at the same time. His music reminds me about my dreams. Oh, I really like this one, like this sentence. His music reminds me about my dreams from my childhood. This is a very powerful sentence, because it's always good to reflect. Like if you hear something, suddenly you remember like a moment, or you smell something, and also you remember from your childhood, like maybe some cuisine from your grandmother, for example. I felt warmth at my heart, and my body started shaken, and I started to sing a song together with the musician. Oh, that's also very cool, huh? Like the warmth in my heart, that's a bit like that internal sense, right? Um, my body started to shake, and also but focus more on your body, and that you suddenly started to sing a song together with a musician. That's spontaneity, right? That you're suddenly spontaneous. His black jacket reminded me about my past, but still I felt my presence in this moment. Yeah, I really like it. It's a very good example of like immersive storytelling. Well done, Veronica. It's a very good one. All right, we do a last one. Let me check how are with the time. Yeah, still some time. Okay, so here we see something. So try now here also to write like one or two sentences. You're walking on a local market again, and suddenly you see something like that. Yeah, that's also a good question. I would not say it, because if you walk, right, you don't know it, right? So that's the thing. Like, how would you describe it in a story, not knowing what it is? But you could start like a story, like in a quote. What is this, right? And then maybe a dialogue with the vendor, for example. Like, what is this? I asked the vendor when I was exploring the Peruvian indigenous market in Iquitos. It looked like some liquid dripping from like a tree. Was it liquid, or was it blood of something? So try to write. I would just not give it away what it is. You can really imagine yourself walking there. So again, the five senses I should focus on. What you see, what you touch, what you smell, what you hear. Oh, one more. I forgot the word. Oh yeah, what you taste. Can be also one sentence, just to practice a little bit. So later we will also write, will be also homework, like personal essays. It will be a travel essay, something about your travel, while you will use a lot of immersive storytelling. Of course, later we will also like write other pieces, but for now you can put a lot of immersive storytelling. Later, of course, you need to find the right balance, that you don't overdo it as well, because you will also make the reader tired if you do it like, let's say, in 20 pages, but you need to find the right balance as well. But for now, we can just practice a lot with it. Okay, there we have. So the liquid looked like blood, and I had a foreboding feeling within me. That's actually very interesting. I had the same feeling when I looked at it. I was like, what is this? Like, it looks like blood. Okay, we have another one. It's a very good one to make like you compare it, hey, it looks like blood. Everyone knows, how blood looks like. The juicy reddish liquid in the bowl was catching my attention since I was not sure what it is or how it tastes. So it's also very interesting. Like, yeah, what is this? Do you eat it? Do you drink it? Like, while surrounded by several beautiful spices in different shapes and containers reflected real Latino vibes. Yeah, well done, well done. So also that's like the containers, like there's a lot of things around, like what's that, and that it catch your attention. Yeah, well done. And it's also good to also sometimes if you don't know it, as a writer, like what it is, like sometimes it's even like for 60% of the situations, maybe you don't know what it is. So it's good to talk with the vendor to do like a small interview, like ask like, hey, what's that? What do you use for? Is it a remedy? Is it food? How did you start selling it? Where do you import it? Like how more information, how better. You can get a bit of feeling, but in the beginning, if you don't know it, enjoy the feeling and try to focus on the five senses. And later you can a bit interview the person. You can put end quotes in the article, maybe a funny story that he has. So I think Veronica is, still writing. So I will explain a little bit now, like what the situation was. So this was actually also in Lima, on the market, but outside on the street. Yeah, there like a bit, like a bit massive, like Peruvian guy, and yeah, he had a lot of weird things on his table, right? Kind of like fruits or roots and leaves and some boxes. So I was like, yeah, like what's that? Like I'm not sure how it's actually called, this substance. Was it a time ago? But yeah, I also like walked. I was like, "What's that? Is it like blood or something?" Yeah, a weird root on the middle of the street. It's like a root, and something drips from it. So later I asked what it was from. He said it was actually had the same effect like yodia. So it's good when you cut yourself, it closes, right? So I think the same with the root, right? And it had also like some healing properties, especially if you have like wounds, so it closes the wounds. And I think they used also for something else, but I'm not sure what it was about. But also what was very interesting, he also had he showed us like a bottle with a snake in it. He said that he has also like liquor from a snake that you can drink, and that it's very like healthy for impotence. He said that it was for the men especially, or if they want to really feel like strong and energetic. So I remember he took it out of the bag, but like hide it directly. So I guess it was something illegal, maybe like from a serpent, like a snake that, yeah, it's not allowed to sell it. Because that's also something very interesting. If you go to those local markets, like most of the things are, of course, legal, but there are also some goods that are illegal. Like, for example, I did some research and I found out there is a Chinatown in Peru, in Lima, and you can even find like shark soup, basically. And they have like a fin of a shark, and they put it in the soup for the taste to make a bit like a gelatin taste, and that's actually very illegal, but still, because it's so rooted in the Chinese culture, so a lot of elderly people still order it, still eat it, but like a bit hidden. And there's a big trade actually from the waters near Ecuador, goes like to Peru, and I heard they label it and then send it all the way to China. So that can be a very interesting story, for example, that you can investigate, right? As a travel journalist, but also thinking about like your
I
safety, of
think,
course.
sorry,
Yes, yes.
there was one documentary. There is one documentary by BBC, most probably. It is, I think, in Japanese culture, is number one.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
are
yeah.
hunting whales and sharks in a large
True.
quantity, and they use it. And sometimes that, yes, raises concern by the environmentalist and the marine life in jeopardy.
Yeah.
But yeah, or in some country, as you mentioned, they are just, let's say, monkeys or brain of some animals,
Yeah, it's more like
some
common to like
worms of which
eat
are,
it. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, in some
yeah.
like countries, some things, yeah, that are if people live, for example, in the jungle and there are a lot of monkeys, it's possible that they, yeah, will eat it because they're more used to it, right? Because it's in their landscape. In the Netherlands, we don't have monkeys, for example, so we just can't go like to the forest and see them. But if you live like in Peru, they are actually, and they eat monkey meat, for example. And yeah, some animals like it's illegal to eat them, right? Like jaguars, for example, yeah, you're not allowed to hunt them down and just eat them because there are just not that many of them. But still, people like hunt for them. Still, sometimes there are communities that eat them or sell their skin, for example, like illegal animal trafficking, basically, or selling like parts of the animals. Sometimes they sell it as pets, and so those are especially interesting stories. I know like National Geographic writes about that kind of like stories, but of course, as a travel journalist, if you go there and you document it, so I documented like the monkey meets with the GoPro, was able to catch it. I will make soon like a YouTube video about it. And the thing is, like, they were not happy about it, of course, that I had that GoPro. So they were like, turn it off, turn it off. And like, yeah, as you can imagine, a lot of those vendors, especially with the meat, they have those huge knives. So you don't want to mess with them. So I always remember, try to go with the local guides and be careful how you film. And it's always important to be safe first, right? And yeah, I checked from Veronica. I felt the sour smell of some strange liquid. I turned my head and saw the cup with black sauce. Started to walk to check what it is. This sauce about. As the sales lady, yeah, that's a very nice one, like a quote. Can you please give me to try any of this sauce? She refused. I was upset. So I think that's also very cool. I was upset, like showing like your emotion, right? But then was very surprised why she had so many small bottles with some strange names of sauce or some liquids. Suddenly someone called me. I woke up and I realized that it was my dream. Oh, that's also cool. A lot of like that kind of stories are also that someone just woke up because it was just a dream. But well done. Like you used like the smell, like the color, black sauce. Yeah. And I see another one from memory. After
And
very
also, can I ask
delicious.
one
Mhm.
question,
Yes, of course.
if I may?
Yes, yes, yes.
Because a few minutes ago we were talking about in what way, for example, ChatGPT sometimes technically they call it hallucinate. It
Mm-hmm.
hallucinates. It gives you some right things, but it goes all the way down to the wrong path.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if the user is not sure how to use it, that is why we have technically prompting, prompt engineering, how to
Yes,
use,
yes.
give the instruction. My question is, in the world of tourism, travel, which you have a lot of experience, nowadays technology, for example, if we give the same picture, imagine I'm the tour guide, I simply take a photo by the Google and it can describe for me in the Google image,
what
we
it
can
is.
easily describe it talks about the exact ingredients, most probably based on the clues and the, but do you think then it's okay, or is it common? Because then it can be personalized. We can tweak it, we can change some words to.
I think it's
In fact,
okay to do that.
yeah.
Like, especially, for example, this situation. Imagine you are just like at that market and yeah, you just captured the picture. You were going to the grocery, you had your hands full with bags, and it was just spontaneous. You just took the picture, but you didn't have time to ask the vendor because you needed to catch your flight, right? And you have no idea what it is. So of course it's amazing. You can see ChatGPT as like your research station, right? You can put a picture. It will tell you what it is based on resources on other pictures, right? However, you need to double check it because you are a travel journalist, right? So you need to know it's true, right? So you check on other sources and see like, oh, is it true what ChatGPT said or not? Oh, it's true. Okay, then you can put the words of ChatGPT in your own words, or even like copy maybe one or two sentences. Like you can even put in the yeah, maybe I would not recommend to put it like written by ChatGPT or something, but you can definitely use the information, then put it in your own words and put some emotions into that. Maybe like things that you, because you didn't have the conversation, so you can put the quotes, but you can have put the quotes that you were thinking about in your head. Like, oh, is it like blood? Is it like that animal, or like some liquid from a root, right? So you can like put that kind of quotes, for example, that you had in your head. So definitely you can use ChatGPT, but I would not recommend to talk very open about it when you publish in travel magazines, because if they hear the word ChatGPT, they will think like, maybe someone used a lot of sentences. I'm a bit afraid to publish it. So National Geographic is very like strict about. They just say they don't want that anyone does like trip research with this or that. And of course, a lot of editors from National Geographic, they use ChatGPT because we had that conversation during like one of those meetups. But it's just not something that the editorial team likes when you have freelance travel journalists that say that, oh, I did some research with ChatGPT. It needs to be real research. And real research is basically talking to like people, so like the local vendor or maybe a local museum that has more information about that. For example, like what can be else, like a spokesperson from like a non-profit organization that protects some plants or animals, like a rescue center, right? So those are very valuable people that you could talk with and interview them even before you go to the country, right? You can already do some research. You can get information from official websites, and ChatGPT is great for like getting a little bit the outline, and then you dive deeper in it, recheck everything, right? So I think, yeah, it's a great tool in general, especially if you have a picture, don't know what it is, it can get you at least on the right lead, right? But it's, yeah, important to check if it's right, especially what you said with prompt engineering. In the future, it will get better, I think. So for example, in the healthcare, it will be used a lot with diagnosis and psychological diagnosis. Now it can give you the wrong diagnosis or maybe the good one, but in the future, if you put select number of prompts, then yeah, you can get maybe even in 95% a good diagnosis. And of course, you need a human to check it if it's true, because there are more things with diagnosis. But I think the whole AI will get more and more developed in the future. But yeah, good thing like about you as a travel journalist, if you go there, vlog with your camera, I know one thing for sure, like if you have AI avatars, like because you have them already, it's funny to watch maybe a video, but of course we want to watch videos of like real people getting sad, getting happy, going there, smelling things, getting the culture shocks, like action, right? Like maybe like something funny that they did, or they feel shy about it, right? Like yeah, like some bloopers. I think that that's something that people like to watch. So luckily, like we are in a good position as travel journalists that we should a bit lean on that side and still, of course, use the AI. That's why we have this month about, yeah, like later we'll have masterclass also about writing AI human content, so kind of combining those two together, right? So I think yeah, but both are very important nowadays, and immersive and AI as well, because you can use it for pre-trip research, and yeah, it can give good advice. So all right. After a very delicious bread, the chef left the dirty bowl along with a disarray of his herbs and some containers of his ingredients. Perfect. I was like the chef, the dirty bowl. You can imagine the dirty bowl. Herbs and those containers, a lot of weird containers. Okay, so here we have. Yeah, we did actually those assignments. So I was thinking maybe with let me check. Oh yeah, here we have the travel essay. What we can do is that I can give you as homework to basically write a travel essay. And yeah, it's a bit what we did actually with those pictures. So basically try to use the 5 senses and you can make the story a bit longer. If you want, you can put pictures also in the story just to make it more alive. It can be your own pictures or landscape, products, foods, people. And also with pictures, yeah, we have more about travel photography, but it's also good to diverse it a little bit, right? That you take a close-up of a person, then maybe a landscape, then maybe only the hands, then maybe only the coffee beans or the texture of something. So it also helps to make the story more alive, but we'll have more about that. And yeah, for homework, it's just basically you can upload it in the portal. It's like writing the travel essay. And there's a difference between travel reportage and travel essay. Travel reportage is usually a bit bigger. It's more based on resources. You can put interviews with people. And a travel essay, it's really like your personal, like narrative story, right? So from like I perspective, I saw this, the colors, I felt that. So it's basically, I would say, a bit like a travel blog story about your own experience. And it's very powerful because now a lot of travel magazines want those personal stories. So it makes it also, those are also usually a bit easier than an investigative travel journalist. So yeah, it's very nice for me personally to write those stories. I wrote one time about my high altitude sickness experience in Cusco in Peru, and that got like published. And yeah, magazines, yeah, like those stories of like basically tourists, travelers, like going abroad and then experiencing something they will never forget, right? So that's something nice. And yeah, try to use your 5 senses. I would just go a little bit back. So with travel essay, so it's like what I said, the personal narrative. And yeah, the goal is basically to reflect on a personal experience, right? And a lesson that you learned maybe through travel, like experience, culture shock, something scary. And yeah, tone, introspective, emotional. We practice a bit to that. And I saw you did already beautiful examples with introspective, like especially with that violin, how it was playing, what you felt inside you, for example. Emotional, your emotions, literary. And yeah, length, it's you can, with the length you can choose yourself. So it can be like 500 words, can be more. You can like upload it in the portal, and I can also give you a bit more feedback about that. And also about publications. If you want to publish like your travel essay, I would recommend like there are a couple of platforms. You have like you can start a blog on WordPress. We will also have that one module. Just I will teach you everything from beginning, how you set up your own blog post, your website. So we will cover that. For now, it's just the writing, because you need to learn first to write, tell the story, and then you can like publish it somewhere. And yeah, also like yeah, what's important is, yeah, you can just like write it down, and if you want, you can also publish it on Medium. That's a bit easier to access. So we have wordpress.com. So that's more like your own blog. And Medium, it's also like, I think it's like .com. It's you can publish articles. can be also a personal essay or just like an interview with someone. So it's a good way to have already something for your portfolio, right? So I would say just use it. So you have already your first article, your personal essay, you have already for your portfolio. You can try maybe to publish somewhere, or if you use another story, then you can use it as your portfolio, right? So that's about the travel essay. Let me check. Yeah, I think we covered everything. So yeah, like, please let me know if you have like maybe still questions about immersive travel writing or even storytelling. Can everyone manage to make the personal essay? Do you have maybe questions about that? It doesn't also need to be very long.
We have
Just that you.
almost. Is there any kind of deadline, or we have a week for doing
Yeah,
the
just like
homework? Is
1
that
week.
correct?
Yeah, just like 1 week to like
Okay.
do it, and maybe next class we can also check a little bit. And yeah, it's a good way just to practice with immersive travel writing, and we can also put it as an example later in some AI software the next lesson, because we really focus on AI the next lesson. And so then we can see how AI gives you feedback, how it corrects your mistakes, or like, you know, like can give you maybe make the text longer or shorter, so we can practice with that.
Igor, I would like to ask you, because in Russia we are using DeepSeek. You know, it's Chinese GPT.
How do you call it? Because I never heard about
DeepSeek. I will write down DeepSeek.
Is a Chinese platform, DeepSeek, which is not that much
DeepSeek.
welcome in Europe. Because even at the university, I know that it's not,
DeepSeek.
Because of several reasons. For example, at the university, they are not allowed to use it, but it's also very strong, very good.
So DeepSeek, it's like ChatGPT, but it's like different a bit, or like basically the same?
DeepSeek has a huge potentiality. You can upload as many as files. Practically, it does not as good as ChatGPT, because ChatGPT has a lot of different capability, but regarding analysis and writing stuff is very good.
Oh, that's good to know. Only I think in Europe.
Yeah.
Yes, Veronica, sorry.
No, it's okay. But can you send to us the link, because I should check if the link to international Midjourney or DPT.com, or how to go and check how it works in Europe and in the world.
Let me check. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can like. I guess. Oh yeah, maybe if it's more from US or Europe, maybe you can open the GPT. Let me check.
Can you send to me the link?
Yes.
Because I would like to try, for example, in Google, if it works. If, for example, in Google, I will, write down the link and check. Because DeepSeek, I downloaded application and I used in Russia if I need something. But, for example, as our lot of applications now blocked, in Russia, I would like to try GPT if it works, and to try to use it for some of my work and everything.
Yes, of course, it can be very, very useful if you have some access to AI software. I sent it to you with WhatsApp, so you can like check it if it works.
GPT, right?
Yeah, GPT.
You are using, yes, you are using everywhere now GPT. How you use? You just you just go. It's like, for example, we have in Russia Yandex, yes, and if I want to now, it's called Alisa, like the name of the lady, and she's telling you, for example, this building was constructed at this year, blah 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 blah, and GPT also like this. For example, I'm asking, for example, when Peter the Great was born, right? And it tells you, right? It works like this. Like,
It's like a bit like conversation. You can also, like with Baha said a bit, you can give prompts. So that means you kind of like use a little bit, they call it, I think, prompt engineering or something, so you can change a little bit the response. That means you can put a different tone, or even you can say like, analyze it like you are like Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook to make a marketing campaign, or like, don't use this, this, and this, for example, for analyzing. So you can kind of like make it a little bit more niche, for example, or give more like a critical voice, or more like motivating. Let's say you're doing some exercise, you can make more like a motivational coach, or even build different personalities in ChatGPT, like a marketing expert, like someone that edits like your travel writing, someone that gives you like very critical feedback, someone that empowers you. So you can like really, give different like roles. But I think, it should be, if it's like AI, it should be very similar, but of course it depends of the software, like how you use it. And I'm also like not a huge expert with like prompt engineering, but we will like next class we will just try to like basically work on the text and see what you can all do with the AI, because you have different software, and some softwares are more focused on writing or analyzing things, or more like construction or healthcare. So I think in the future it will be even more like specialized, especially with those prompts. But for now, I think, Veronica, is just good that you can check if it works. If not worries,
Yeah, it
because there's
works.
for sure an alternative in Russia as well.
Can you send me also, if you can, in WhatsApp Mid-Journey? Mid-Journey. It's
Mid-Journey,
also, yes?
sure.
Yes, yes.
I will send it
But
to you.
with VPN it works, because now I'm
Okay.
connected to VPN, so I'm okay. I could speak with you and with VPN, because we are now using everywhere VPN, because otherwise we are cut off the world. But it's
Yes.
okay. You will send me, and I will try to write and do everything. Okay.
Of course, I will send it to you. Mid-Journey, I think it's more focused on video and images. I
But
was with
GPT is better. Yeah.
personally, I use more ChatGPT. Yeah. I had one
You
time a
use
plus
GPT.
premium, like a premium something subscription on ChatGPT, just to check if it was bad. You could really like even upload like a whole page, like a business plan, and then it analyzed it well. So it's a little bit better and faster response as well, generate videos, pictures. But the free version is also fine. So I would recommend just to use your free version. And if you ever need more professional, then you can think about subscriptions or something.
So you recommend me GPT better, right?
Yeah, I would recommend for now like ChatGPT. I don't know, maybe Baha or like Memory, if you have any other recommendations, like because you have different software.
But it depends on what she needs. And in fact, as a matter of fact, some of the software based on the geographical locations are different. For example, to give you a funny example, in United Arab Emirates, which is very famous for its infrastructure or something, I heard from some of my friends that WhatsApp, especially the voice or the chat or something, doesn't work there. It might be because of, I don't know, security reason, or because of other things. Or in China, there is something like a Panda or something. I forgot the app. They have millions and billions of people, in China. They use it parallel to others, but there is also some policy. So it's quite depends on the country, like this DeepSeek, which is quite common here, even in Europe, they use it, but not at the official, like academia, university, or government. They are not allowed to use it
for
to
security
the best of my
reasons.
knowledge. This is
You can
because
put
of
your data.
ISP. They call it ISP, or Internet Service Provider. There are some protocols, some, like cybersecurity, those kind of things. So there are a lot of technical things involved. So it's better to save now. But back to the question of Veronica, as long as she has access to Gmail, for example, in Russia.
Yeah, I have.
If you go on the 3 dots or more dots on the platform, once you click, you can see that everything is there. So there is no need for having any link. let me just, for example, if you go to Google, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Just let me, I try to be quick to express. I have a lot of pages open. Imagine I'm in Google now. Okay. So yeah, if you simply open up a Chrome and Google, and then next to the images, you can see there are 12 dots.
What does it mean,
You
12
have
dots?
on
Like
the
the
right
points.
corner, yes, points or dots. You have, for example, Gmail, you have images. These are the two top. Are you following me? Just on a very typical Google,
Yeah.
if you open it up for the search, all right? Now go to the very right corner, you can see Gmail, the word Gmail, images, and 12 dots. Once you click on everything regarding Google, such as Google Calendar, Translate, Gmail, okay? I think Slides, Drive, yeah, it depends again on the setting of, yeah, these are different also. But it based on your browser.
Oh,
But if you
I
yes,
simply,
saw.
maybe.
I went. Yes, yes, I went.
yeah. Now, technically, this is the answer. If you go to your personal Gmail, as I am now, the
Yeah.
same 12 dots next to the initial Google account. For example, if your name is Veronica, you might have
Yes.
V, all right, in green. So if you click
Yeah.
on those 12 Google apps, everything pops up and you can see that Gemini, all right, where you're
Like the
talking
AI
about.
stuff.
Yeah, AI
Yeah,
is
yeah.
there.
But
So
I
you can,
saw, for example, sorry.
I
yeah.
saw, for example, when I clicked to V, yes, my account, I only saw the history of searching and
No.
subscription to
History is
Google One.
something else. If you
Yes.
just click on those 12, for sure, you can see everything regarding Google, like Drive, like Gemini. So I think if you're asking about, you can go down, everything there is, if as long as it's open, you can use it, like Google Meet, Google Calendar, and Gemini. I
Oh, so
believe
maybe you can use
now,
it without any problems.
Yes, yes, I will
yes,
check. Okay, I will check. Yes, yes, I saw
yeah,
this Gemini,
yeah,
yeah, I
Oh, you
saw.
have it. Oh, that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
yeah,
That's good
thank
to
you.
hear.
Sorry, because Yes, yes, I saw.
yes. So now
Thank you.
you have it.
Oh, it's
My
nice.
pleasure.
Oh, thank you very much, Maha. Thank you. That's very
It's my
helpful.
pleasure.
Yeah, so you have
Yeah.
a lot of experience already with AI. So maybe the next session you can also give some personal insights and cool platforms that you know. I'm also very curious because still learning a lot about AI because it's something new. So.
I'm learning a lot from you friends, you guys, especially you, Mr. Igor, but I would be happy if I know, I have been working on different kind of prompting stuff.
Oh, cool.
If needed, I can have
sure. If
small
you have any
contribution, or even
ideas or
I can
something, you can always
publish
send it.
on the platform. If needed, I can even share something. I just wanted to
Yes,
say,
of
based on
course.
the interview, you said we had one assignment with interview, if you remember. I had something kind of innovative things. I searched for the top 5 word travel writer, and I came with the name. So his interview with National Geographic, and I just summarized it in a PowerPoint. So next to the link
cool.
of the YouTube, everybody could see that is the summary of the in a PowerPoint, which also gives a very nice kind of writing. So this is.
Oh, that's nice. That's very interesting. So definitely please share it. Like if you find anything like interesting, and also for you, Veronica, memory, if you find like maybe like interesting travel journalist from your country, or you have a story you wrote already, please put everything in the portal because everyone can learn from it, or people can give you feedback. So it's very nice that we can make like a nice community that we can interact and give each other like good information, feedback.
Sure.
I think it's very valuable. So also if I find something like interesting jobs or like maybe an interesting travel writer or a platform, then I also like put it there so everyone can check it out, publish their stories maybe, or apply for a job or something. So I think it's always
His
good to
life
do that.
story is very interesting. That's why I summarize it in a PowerPoint. He's also lecturer. He was born in Oxford, but he's lecturing at Harvard University. A lot of experience. He's a very famous guy.
Oh,
And
interesting.
just try to.
Yeah, please
Put it
share.
already on
Very
the
curious.
assignment.
Also,
Yes.
very curious about it. Okay,
Yes.
everyone. So I think like next time we will like focus a bit deeper on AI and especially like AI tools that we use for like travel writing, travel journalists. So like for like research, but also for writing itself. So we like share some softwares, and then one software we will just like practice to edit like a story, and so you can just get a feeling like what kind of possibilities it has, and also Baja, if you have any like interesting like contributions or something, you're always welcome to like co-host the session or just like jump in if you have like some interesting tools. I'm always happy to also like so you can also share like your knowledge, right, your experience with others. So it could be very cool because I know you did also some research about it.
My pleasure.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
I'll just stop the recording and if you please let me know if you have any like questions.